Welcome everybody to a look at the final film in the Terror in the Fog, the Wallace Krimi at CCC box set from Eureka. So this final film is from 1964 and it is The Racetrack Murders. So this is directed by Franz Josef Gottlieb, who also did The Curse of the Yellow Snake and The Phantom of Soho. And this is a thriller film clocking in at 93 minutes long. Once again stars Hans-Jörg Felmy and Hans Nielsen, who was in the previous film, as well as at least one other film, I think, before that. Also stars Walter Riller, who was in 3 of the Dr. Mabuse films and Day of Anger, and Smyrna, who was in Reptilicus and Journey to the Seventh Planet, which are hardly the greatest sci-fi films going, but they are entertaining enough. And finally, Wolfgang Lukshi, who was in A Fistful of Dollars. Seems like we can link that spaghetti western with several of these films in this box set. So, the son of a British racehorse owner conspires with a bookie to ruin the odds of his father's thoroughbred winning an important event. So, although not my favourite film in this box set, is perhaps the most entertaining one of the bunch. This is due to the effective pacing, a smattering of comedy, enjoyable character interactions, and generally decent kills. The change of setting also helps set it apart from prior efforts, as this is not set in London. It's not set in like an urban area. It is generally in the countryside. So I think only the Strangler of Blackmore Castle was set in that kind of same environment. So definitely sets it apart from those other ones. And yeah, the production is also solid. The cast is good. The plot is predominantly engrossing. And although it is once again reliant on red herrings like previous films in this box set, most of the suspects do ultimately make more sense. Whereas in a couple of other ones, there were a couple of characters here and there that did feel a little bit like they were making a mound out of a molehill, basically, about their reasons for wanting to kill someone, which didn't feel all that realistic, to be honest. Now, in terms of the artwork, I think this is probably my least favourite artwork of the bunch as well. That does not scream murder or anything like that to me. Looks more like a outside of that one guy getting strangled, which is really tiny and really in the top right corner, top left corner. Yeah, just looks a bit more like a drama, to be honest, more than anything there. But still, it does have its own individual disc, just like the prior film did. And yeah, the 2K restoration looks pretty good as well, like the previous films have done. Again, optional English subtitles, newly revised for this release, optional English dub for the film as well, and new introduction to the film by genre film expert and video watchdog founder Tim Lucas. And we also have a new audio commentary on the film by Kevin Lyons and Jonathan Rigby. And other extras that we have on this release that I have perhaps not talked about are the likes of the Brian Edgar Wallace and Era, a new interview with producer Alice Brauner, managing director of CCC Film and daughter of Arthur Brauner. And then we've got Passing the Blade, new video essay by Alexandra Helen Nicholas, exploring the influence of the Wallace Krimi on the Italian giallo and the American slasher film. So yeah, they sound pretty good, to be honest. And yeah, now we're going to rank them. So yeah, I can't obviously get all of the show all the films in terms of their artwork because well, one of them doesn't even have the artwork. So yeah, but I'll basically go in top down. So I think, in all honesty, even though it's the film that isn't the main part of this box set, because it didn't have a Blu-ray restoration or anything like that, I'm in all honesty going to say The Phantom of Soho is probably my favourite of the bunch. I just think its style and its clear influence on giallo and American slashers with its cinematography and such is just really helped set it apart. Then I'd say The Mad Executionist comes in second. Gave it the same score as The Phantom of Soho, but um, ultimately it's a little bit more ordinary in its general execution, but it does have a great deal of atmosphere to it, certainly more so than the previous films. Then I'd say actually this comes third, 3.5 out of 5 by the way for that film. Um, but I'd say The Monster of London City and The Strangler of Blackmore Castle and The Racetrack Murders are all basically as good as one another. There's very little difference between the three. But in last, comfortably, The Curse of the Yellow Snake, which, yeah, just, yeah, I didn't really enjoy that all that much at all, to be honest. There are elements to it that I respect, but the problematic yellow peril aspect to it really did undermine a great deal of the any enjoyment that we get out of that film. But on the whole, this box set has been great. You know, two 4-star films, three fat 3.5-star films, and one 3-star film means that, yeah, ultimately there were a lot more there that I enjoy than didn't. So yeah, and even though one of those 4-star films is still in only standard definition, didn't have any Blu-ray restoration to it, which is a great shame really because of how good that film actually is. It still ultimately is part of this release, and yeah, it is a really rather enjoyable effort. And yeah, even though it's not all over the box set, for instance, when they're listing the films, Phantom of Soho isn't there, but on the reverse, you do have the artwork for it there as well, the Phantom of Soho. So there is some element of this box that is still acknowledging it outside of detailing it as an extra, but it is still a really good film, and I'm glad it was part of it is part of this release, even if it is still only in standard definition. So hopefully it gets a Blu-ray release at some point in the future because it really does deserve it, and I do highly recommend seeing it if you've watched all of the films in this box set already. Go back, see the Phantom of Soho as well, and see how you feel about it in comparison to the other films. Because I hope you'll be genuinely surprised by it and don't just think of it as a afterthought as an extra on this release. So yeah, but as a whole, this release is really rather good. I think on the whole, I probably do prefer it to the Medusa series of films because I think the last two in that box set were a little bit underwhelming. I think I only gave them 3 out of 5, whereas I've only given the one film 3 out of 5 here, and it does, I think, at least match the 4 out of 5 rating films that I gave as well. I think I gave 2 in that box set, also for 4 out of 5 as like this one. So yeah, on the whole, these are box sets from Eureka that have charted West German and East German films, because obviously we also had the Strange New Worlds one. Have been really good, and I've really enjoyed watching all of them. To be honest, it's really widened my view of German cinema from the 50s, 60s, and such. And yeah, I do highly recommend seeing all of them, and it's certainly probably the most German films I've ever seen in a given year. So, yeah, but if there is more to come from Eureka in this same kind of wheelhouse from CCC or DEFA, then I generally am looking forward to them if there is more to come. So, yeah, but nonetheless, if you have seen the Racetrack Murders, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.